Who's got it better than us? Nobody!
Your home for the best sports coverage in Utah. You're listening to Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. A very happy Wednesday to everybody out there. Go and see Alex and JJ tomorrow. They're going to be at the RV show Thursday, 3 to 6 at the Mountain America Expo Center in Sandy. Your opportunity to shop, compare, and buy the RV of your dreams. It's the RV show at Mountain America Expo Center with JJ and Alex tomorrow. Let's welcome in our next guest. You can catch him on Utah Jazz pre-half and post-game shows on TV. Longtime NBA player, Mike Smith. What's going on, Mike?
Hi, Ben. How are you?
I'm doing terrific. I've enjoyed watching the new-look Utah Jazz over the last week. Jaren Jackson Jr. Has changed the narrative around the Utah Jazz, and we knew it was going to happen at some point. We knew the rebuild was going to end. I'm not sure anyone was prepared for how quickly he would make this big of an impact. Are you surprised at how much it seems like things have changed over just 2 games?
Well, I realize the optimism and hope and belief that has been restored, all that came with the big trade because it's just so difficult. Ben, as you and I both know, it's just really, really difficult to make a trade for an all-star who's under the age of 30, who doesn't have baggage, right? He comes from good genes. He's got Dad's DNA, he just has a good pedigree. He's a 2-time All-Star. He plays on both ends of the floor. All those things. I think it's true. I'm not sure it's true. I know it's true among the first 5 guys that were chosen in his draft, meaning like DeAndre Ayton and Marvin Bagley and Luka Doncic, and then Trae Young is 5. Jaren Jackson is 4. I think he's the only one that had not changed teams. And that's like a huge statement. So they not only get a guy who impacts play on both ends and elevates what you really need, because they needed more shooting. They need, for sure, more defense and versatility. But you also get a guy who's full of character and, wants to be here. Those are all wins. So, I'm not surprised at the impact he's had in just, a couple short games on a road trip. I am surprised and marvel that Danny and Justin and Austin and Ryan and Will, were able to pull off such a deal. So I'm really happy for the fan base, and I think the prospects are bright looking forward to next year.
Mike, I'll take it a step further. He's the only player from the 2018 draft in the first round who hadn't been traded in the first round, period, unless you count Miles Bridges, but Miles Bridges was actually drafted by the Clippers and traded to the Hornets on draft night. He's played every game with the team he really kind of started his career with. But every player in the first round is either out of the NBA or has been traded. It's very, very bizarre. But I think it's a good point to lead off of. We talked about this a little bit on this show. Oh, go ahead, Mike.
No, I was just going to piggyback and just say you're right. That's even more to that point. And go ahead.
It's a weird spot that he fell into to Memphis, and I understand why fans, maybe wouldn't recognize it from being in Salt Lake City. He got drafted to a team that still had Mike Conley. And the thought was, okay, Mike's an all-star, or Mike's a borderline all-star. He hadn't made an all-star at that point, but he was the face of the franchise. And that eventually Jaren, very young coming out of Michigan State, was going to develop into the franchise piece. He was going to be the star. And while they were waiting for that to happen, they trade Mike Conley, and they get Ja Morant 3 months later, I think, in the draft, and Ja takes over the franchise. On the court and off the court. Everything is rearranged to make Ja comfortable, to make his dad, T. Morant, comfortable. And then Ja is so dynamic on the floor, it makes sense, well, that's your superstar. And Jaren never really gets to have the team become his own. And I'm starting to look at what's happening, even just through 2 games in Utah, and I think this might be the first time you're going to have Jaren Jackson on a roster that is built to maximize what he does, as opposed to him being a supporting player to someone like Ja Morant or like Mike Conley.
I think it's such a good point. And maybe because Ja Morant burst onto the scene with such prominence and such success right away, he was truly unguardable. That first playoff series of his where I think Golden State beats them, but it was down to the wire. Like, they had no answer for him. And he was he put so much pressure on their defense by how he could get into the paint and get where he wanted. So maybe, it's inevitable that a presence like that, a physical specimen like that, kind of forced Jaren to take a backseat. And I don't know Jaren's personality all that much yet. He seems like a great guy. I'm sure over the next 3-4 years I'm going to get to know every part of him when I spend time with him. But what I like about his elevated play is that it appears that it would not detract from or take from, say, his other star forward in Lauri Markkanen. Like, in the games that they've been together, they don't steal from one another. Like on the first game, 27 for Lauri and 22 for Jaren. They both played under 30 minutes, and it just seemed like they played off each other. And, like, Lauri's got to be so thrilled out of his mind to have another, prominent piece on the roster, for one, to take some pressure off the load he has to carry every night. But secondly, the skills don't overlap, right? You can space out Jaren Jackson. You can post him up. You can do different things. And I think they're going to get along beautifully. So, yeah, to your point, maybe he emerges, as the alpha that he was in college.
He's also a very nice person by all accounts. And, I'm sure you know these guys, Mike, as long as you've been around the league. Your dad plays in the NBA. You just kind of have a sense of the league that's different than a lot of people. You kind of know how to approach it as a professional. I mean, pretty consistently, it's a good marker for a player's career if they have a parent or an older brother or something like that played in the NBA that can kind of show them the ropes before they get there. So with that said, Jaren never said a bad thing about Memphis, nor should he. Good for him. I do think they supported him. But it was a mess. It's been a mess in Memphis for the last several years. Part of it because of Ja Morant's off-the-court issues. Part of it because, sometimes they just didn't realize their potential on the floor. I do wonder if just getting a new start in a new city culturally will be beneficial for his game.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. And it's been a mess in Memphis because they fired Taylor Jenkins, let's be honest. Like, yes, Ja's stuff off the court has really impacted them, but they got rid of a coach who all he did was win. Like, all he did was win and get those guys to play really good basketball, no matter who was on the court. And they had a good thing going. Now, I will give them credit. Like, sometimes it takes teams like Sacramento Kings a lot of years to realize you're not doing the right thing or you're making mistakes. Sacramento, by the way, Ben, as you know, one playoff appearance in 20 years.
Yeah, it's a mess.
It's a mess. That's the Jazz opponent tonight. And that one playoff appearance is like only 3 years ago, right? 3 or 4 years ago, when they had the number one offense in the league. and now it's just, a mere fraction of what it was. They're dismal and terrible. But I give Memphis credit in this. It didn't take them 7 years to realize they were a mess. So, yeah, they made some mistakes. But between the trades, between Bane and Jaren Jackson, they ended up with like 7 first-round picks. So, and they still got Ja's trading piece to rebuild and hopefully, get something going in the right direction. But it's going to take them some time. But I always give teams credit who recognize errors and say, okay, it's time to start over. It's not unlike what the Jazz did, 3-4 years ago. That was different. They weren't a mess. It was just Danny's vision, Ryan's vision. We want to win. I don't just want to be competitive. I want to win it all. I want to bring a championship to this team, to this state, to this fan base. Can we do it as presently constituted? And the consensus was no. And those theories are playing out. Like, I don't know that Donovan is going to take a team as a team's number one player to a finals. Cleveland's okay. They're not great. Donovan is a really great player. But that's maybe not enough in Cleveland. Thus, they just made a move. Rudy is a fantastic player, limited in some regards, but fantastic. Can he take Minnesota to a title? I don't think so. certainly is not your B player. If he's your fifth best player, then yeah, maybe. But like they got it right, and it just takes time. I also really reward management for not making, let's say, ancillary, non-transitional moves at trading deadlines that would have amounted to nothing but except busyness. Do you know what I mean? Like, there was pressure on Danny and Justin in years past. What are you going to do at the trade deadline? You have so many picks. You have so much of this. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? And Danny always used to say to me, he said, I'm not just going to do something to do something. Like, that makes no sense. Why would I just do that? That guy's the same good as this guy. Why would I just make a horizontal move? So they were smart, and they can still be smart. They still have a cupboard full of assets, and you're going to find a team who's desperate and needs to make a move, and you go get the next piece, and whatever that next piece is. Hopefully that next piece is a top 3 pick in the draft this summer. But, like, if short of that, go get yourself a great wing defender, you know, to match some of the other defensive things you're now getting, and you are a playoff team next year. I think they are a playoff team next year at full strength.
So do I. You've talked a lot about, you know, breaking down big men. You were a big man in the NBA, which is interesting. You actually spread the floor a little bit like Jaren Jackson Jr. as well. You had an approach that was similar to what Jaren's able to do. What I've been amazed at how holistically he's impacted the team quickly. We see trades and a guy will come in and it takes a while to adjust, and you see a couple of their natural strengths, but rarely do they fit in right away. What's maybe impressed you most through the first 2 games, 50 minutes that we've seen Jaren Jackson Jr. on the court as far as what he's been able to do to impact the team?
I still think he's a left-hander. I still think he was born left-handed and was given a basketball and told to shoot it right-handed. Like, as I watch him play, then everything he does naturally or instinctively gravitates towards the left. It's his preferred dunking hand. It's his preferred jump hook hand. It's his preferred shot blocking hand. But yet he shoots free throws, jump shots, 3-pointers right-handed, and equally as good as his left-hand jump hook is his right-hand jump hook. So that impresses me. But I think he's kind of I think it goes back to this, you know, father played in the NBA. He's got a good idea of how to conduct himself. I think that plays into transitioning to a new team. Not that he had experience doing it, but he kind of knows that I'm not going to demand the ball. I'm just going to go do my thing. And he said initially, I learned very quickly in the first practice, I better move from a Will Hardy scheme. Like, if I'm not moving, I'm wrong. And in this offense, I better move. So even when he's been wrong, and let's just say wrong because he hasn't had enough time to know where to go, he's smart enough to move and move the ball. And so those 2 traits will play well as he goes forward because this team really does move the ball. And it's only the rare case when they'll get a little bit stagnant. It hasn't happened in a while. It did happen in some close games, let's say in the first half of the season, fourth quarter, and they got a little bit isolation happier. Somebody had a hot hand. They tried to force feed the ball. But when they move, they got enough guys that move well enough, good things are going to happen. I just think Jaren's skills are variegated enough that he's going to fit in wherever, as a post-up guy, as a smaller 5, as a stretch 4, as a stretch 5, as a pick-and-roll guy. You know, the big action they've been getting in the last game was terrific. Like whether it was Lowry to Jaren or vice versa, or Nurkic to one of the 2 and vice versa, is impressive. Like, watch tonight. I know a couple guys aren't playing, right? I think Keontae's out. Lowry might be out tonight.
Lowry's available.
And oh, good.
Yeah, he's been upgraded to
and
available. Jaren's playing.
Oh, and is Jaren available?
Yep.
Awesome. Watch tonight the Jazz, let's say, prominence in the paint. Like I think they will destroy Sacramento in the paint. Like, just size and the ability to put 3 7-footers out there or 2 and play them in different positions. And Sacramento truly struggles at eliminating or nullifying the opposition's presence in the paint. They just do not have that component right now. And Sacramento's not playing anybody, I think I read, but I don't know. But anyway, it's kind of fun and exciting, and hats off to the team for a great move, and congratulations to Jaren. He seems like a great fit, and I'll probably see you there tonight.
Absolutely, you will. Mike, quickly on after this trade was made, I remember thinking, I think there's a real chance Jaren Jackson Jr. becomes the third option because Lowry's averaging 27 points a game and Keontae's averaging 24 points a game. And through his first two games, he's looked like the number one option because of the ease with which he can score. He can get to the paint. He can actually post up. He can get there in isolation, which is actually pretty unique for the Jazz's front court as far as big guys go. He's clearly a very dangerous three-point shooter. Is there a chance he does end up as the Jazz's number one offensive option?
I don't think so. I mean, I guess. I just think those other two are better scorers. Isn't that interesting? The jump Keontae's made, his ability to shoot in the mid-range, his ability to get to the rim. Keontae's become a really good layup maker, too. And you know that I think that's a skill that is developed and not necessarily born with. Like Steph's a great layup maker. Kyrie's a great layup maker. LeBron, believe it or not, is a great layup maker. It's a skill. And Keontae did not have a clue early on, year 1 and 2, like how to finish at the rim, but he's become like fantastic at scoring even off the wrong foot with the wrong hand and things like that. And Lowry's just so versatile and so dynamic that honestly, Ben, it doesn't matter to me, right? Like if you got three guys that can score 20 or 25 on a given night, what a fantastic, problem to have. It doesn't matter to me. And I don't think it matters to any one of those three. We know it doesn't matter to Lowry. If Keontae keeps ascending, he might be a 30-point scorer at some point because of the position he plays and his athleticism. But I think Jaren is right where he will end up. But that's not a bad thing. He could be 19 to 22 for the next 6 years. And if that's your case, you're like thrilled out of your mind.
I'm totally with you. And the one thing I would say is I kind of want it to matter to Lowry if I'm a Jazz fan. I want to make sure Lowry doesn't allow himself to fall back to being the third option, because if he does that, he's being underutilized, and at that point he's being overpaid. I think Lowry needs to make sure he puts a real emphasis on still scoring at a high level.
I had not thought about that, but I couldn't agree with you more. I think you're right. You're right. And he's ascended this year from even his best year, which was his first year with the Jazz 4 ago. And he should be thinking the same way. Yeah, this is my team, and I'm scoring 27 point whatever this year. I'm going to take it to 29 next year. He should. He's 28. He's not 32.
And he's got one of the best physical profiles and offensive skill sets in the NBA. I think if he lets the game come to him, I actually wonder if that's a mistake. I think he needs to make sure he puts a stamp on it. Hey, Mike, great stuff as always. I will see you tonight at the game. Thanks for jumping on.
You're welcome, Ben. We would never think this about Lowry, but like in his youth, like age 14, his mom's driving him to Helsinki, like 3 hours away from his family, and taking him to an elite basketball camp. And he's got a suitcase, and mom takes him in. He gets into his dorm room, and you just don't see this because Lowry is this statuesque figure today with this 7-foot physique that is desirable, right? Like it's like, wow, I wish I were built like that. But at 13, 14, he's just this skinny twig who was shy and, an introvert, and his mom drops him off at this camp, and his last words to his mom are, "Mom, I don't think I'm going to unpack my suitcase just yet." And she's like, "Well, why not? You're here for a week." He goes, "Yeah, I don't think I'm going to make it more than a day." Like, it's funny to me to hear those stories and now look at the eventuality of what became of that kid. He is a grown man, and he is an NBA stud.
Mike, great stuff. We'll talk to you again tonight and next week.
Okay, see you, Ben.
There he is, Mike Smith, giving us a breakdown on Jaren Jackson Jr. and the Utah Jazz. When we come back, what you got Wednesday? Valentine's Day themed. Stick around. Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The sports you love, the teams you can't live without.
Get a sense of urgency!
This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
What you got Wednesday? What's the deal? Jake's got rules, Ben's out to steal. Bozo takes their spinning around. Flush it down, flush it down.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Very happy Wednesday to everybody out there. It's Wednesday at 11:30 means it's time for What You Got Wednesday, where Christian and I will go head-to-head in two drafts, one sports-related, one not sports-related. And we'll put it out on the Snap Talk, as Jake likes to say. Have you vote on the winner. Christian, we always start with our sports draft. What is it today?
First, we got to hit last week's scores.
I was going to get to it.
Best
Especially
Jaren's,
because I'm celebrating myself.
Best Jaren's or Jackson's in sports. Ben, you won 60-40.
Nice.
And then best Catherine O'Hara movies, you won 65-35.
Okay, pretty close.
Clean sweep.
Relatively close, but a clean sweep. As always, that means I do not get the number one pick in either draft. That means, Christian, once again, you get the number one picks in the draft, and you're on a bit of a hot streak when you've filled in.
I filled in for you once and for Jake once. I won. I sweat both times.
You're 4-0.
So is that 4-0,
You're
2-0?
4-0 in the draft.
Either way, I've never lost.
You never lost.
Today, and you teased this with DJ, cuddling up in a minky blanket, best celebrity sports couples.
Yeah, I hope you were following us on social media at KSL Sports. You got to see DJ and I tease that this was going to be the draft, and I already put out my first overall pick, I guess unless Christian wants to take it because you do have the number one spot. But we did tease this was going to be available and giving you a chance by following us on social media to win a minky blanket, so make sure you do that. All right, where are you starting today, number one overall pick?
There's a lot of different ways to go with number one here.
So it's sports couples or celebrity couples where at least one half of the couple is a athlete.
Sports figure.
But it doesn't have to be both. Yes, sports figure I think is totally
because
fine.
my number one pick, I'm going to go with Bill Belichick and Jordan Hudson. They are the it couple right now.
They really are, bizarrely. We have a 70. How old is Bill Belichick? 74?
70, yeah.
76? The biggest celebrity sports couple right now involves a man who's almost in his 80s. It is,
and
Bill.
she's an athlete too. She's a recreational cheerleader.
She is. She's an intramural adult recreational cheer captain or associate. I don't know if she's a captain, lieutenant captain. Shout out to Bill Belichick and Mrs. Hudson being the number one overall pick. All right, I will stick with my number one overall pick that I made on our social media post. And I will go with, in honor of Jake being gone, Andre Agassi and Brooke Shields. And I will tell you honestly, this was the first celebrity couple I think I was aware of in my childhood. You know, my parents weren't huge sports fans, but when there was a tennis major on TV, we'd get up in the morning and it would be on Sunday morning, Saturday morning. Well, I mean, Sunday if it was a final, obviously. And I remember watching it. And I remember thinking Andre Agassi was the coolest looking person I'd ever seen because he had the wig on. And then they would inevitably cut to the stands and the crowd, and Brooke Shields would be there. So give me Andre Agassi and Brooke Shields.
All right. I like the way my board's falling.
Working out for you.
The next big power couple in sports right now, Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift.
It's actually the biggest sports couple right now, no question about it. Travis and Swift. Taylor taking a little bit of a backseat to Bad Bunny recently. It does feel like she's maybe been dethroned as the top musician on the planet. Certainly not the most talked about any longer. But her tour is over, and Bad Bunny's just getting his going at the Super Bowl. And then Travis Kelce's also just kind of washed. Well, he's good still. And the Chiefs will be relevant, but they didn't make the playoffs, so I think it makes sense why they weren't the number one overall pick. All right, I will go with the all-time greatest sports couple, and I'm going to go Joe DiMaggio and Marilyn Monroe. At one point, Marilyn Monroe was the most famous woman on the planet. Joe DiMaggio was a superstar for the New York Yankees at the height of the New York Yankees. So give me DiMaggio and Marilyn.
Okay, let's see here.
Board's not looking so good now, huh?
No, it is. It is. I have too many options. Okay, I'm just going to go in order of my board. I'm going to go with Tom and Giselle.
Okay. Ugly ending.
Messy ending. But while it lasted, they were the
the
goals.
couple.
They were goals.
I do think traditionally it seems like, not always, but the athlete leaves the non-athlete in these relationships. I don't get the impression that that's what happened with Tom and Giselle. It sounds like Giselle fell in love maybe with somebody else or fell out of love with Tom. She also made more money than Tom, which is pretty wild. But for a long time, Giselle was making more money than Mr. Brady.
Well, and if you'll remember, there was the whole controversy of where Adam Schefter tweeted that Tom Brady was going to retire, and then Tom Brady announced that he was actually coming back for another year. There's a lot of speculation on whether or not that's what ruined the relationship.
That Giselle wanted time with Tom.
That Tom was going to retire, but Adam Schefter spoiled it, ruined it for Tom Brady, and because Tom wanted to stick it to Adam, that ruined his wedding.
Wanted to announce
marriage.
it on his own.
Yeah.
Tough, Adam Schefter. That'd be tough if you ruined a celebrity couple. All right, I will go with the original disaster couple. And to be fair, Joe DiMaggio and Marilyn Monroe were a bit of a disaster couple because of some issues there, obviously. But the original major disaster couple in my life, I'm going with Lamar Odom and Khloe Kardashian. True insanity, cheating scandals, substance abuse issues, nothing to make light of, but all carrying over and taking place on a reality TV show. Lamar Odom, one of the weirdest people of all time. The Kardashians, obviously some of the weirdest people of all time. Give me Lamar and Khloe.
Not the first time Khloe could appear on this list.
No, at all.
We'll see where this ends up going. Okay, next I'm going to go with David Beckham and Posh Spice.
Yep.
At one point, David Beckham was one of the most popular soccer players in the world.
The poster boy of the biggest sport on the planet.
And Posh Spice was one of the biggest pop stars in the world. And they were like, again, one of the real big celebrity couples, not just, a famous athlete and his wag, right? Like we are talking a real heavy hitter.
I used to work at a hotel locally, and it was the hotel that hosted the MLS teams. That's when the MLS teams came through. That's where they would stay. And the entire building was abuzz that David Beckham's team was staying at our hotel. And everybody knew that all of the players on the team were staying in our standard rooms, and that David specifically had gotten the suite. Like it wasn't a hotel that had 10 suites. It was not the Grand America. MLS, I don't think could afford at the time the Grand America. I don't know if they can now. But David specifically got his own very fancy room apart from the rest of his teammates. And then when they all came down for breakfast, Mr. Beckham was not there. He was not celebrating or having a continental breakfast with the team. Shout out to David and Posh Spice. All right, I will go with, Lloyd will know this. Lloyd will remember her having the world in her hands. Justin Verlander and Kate Upton. At one point, Christian, I don't know if you remember this, Kate Upton was the it girl on the planet. Yeah.
Listen, I'll say this.
Do you know Kate Upton?
I was in middle school at
so
the height of her popularity.
Okay.
So I have a very, very good idea
to the point
who
where
Kate
Lloyd,
Upton
I don't know if you can see it on the camera, simply did a crawling motion, which was her crawling out of the water or the swimming pool. And their story is hilarious. You actually can find the video online of them meeting for the first time. Verlander goes and talks to her. I think it's during a Tigers game. She's sitting right behind home plate or right behind the bench, and Verlander goes and talks to her, and they strike up a relationship. Shout out Kate Upton and Justin Verlander.
All right, man. Is
this your last pick?
This is my last pick. I have so many.
So do I.
So many honorable mentions. I mean, I'm gonna go with. Let's go with some young cats. Let's go Livy Dunn and Paul Skeens.
Okay, this is really young. This is it now, and because we don't have a baseball team, I wonder how many of our listeners actually know who Paul Skeens is. Like, if you're a baseball fan at all, you do. He's the best pitcher in baseball right now. He was a first-round pick. Was he the number 1 overall pick? I don't remember if he was. I don't think he was. Maybe he was. But, yes, he's the best pitcher in baseball. And the problem is he pitches for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
But if they don't know Paul, they got to know Livy. I mean, Livy Dunn is like the face of NIL and what that can do because yes, she was a gymnast at LSU, but she was not even close to the best gymnast on their team, but because of her social media following, she was kind of almost like a cult following, to the point where she was getting kind of harassed when even it happened here in Salt Lake City when they would go on the road for some of these meets. I mean, there were all these fans wanting to meet her. Most of them were boys. Wanting to heckle her, man. It was crazy stuff.
Paul was the number 1 overall pick, and then he got his number 1 overall pick in Livy Dunn. Good pick. All right, my turn. Last pick. Board is wide open again. I'm sure all of our listeners are screaming. They've got this guy, this guy. I could go cute. I could go niche. I'm going to go with infamous, and I will go with Dennis Rodman, and I'm going to go with Carmen Electra. You could have also gone Dennis Rodman and Madonna, but there's a real argument, or not argument, but maybe the biggest distraction during the Last Dance for Jordan, Pippen, and the Bulls was that Dennis Rodman was dating Carmen Electra at the time.
You could go Dennis Rodman and himself.
Yeah, Dennis Rodman married himself one time. Pretty amazing. But yeah, I'll go Dennis and Carmen. Though Madonna, inarguably a much bigger star than Carmen.
A lot of honorable mentions. I mean, we don't have a ton of time, but Khloe Kardashian and Tristan Thompson.
Yep, another scandalous one.
A new one, Kim Kardashian and Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, just showed up at the Super Bowl. My favorite, very niche though, Baron Davis and Laura Dern was maybe the craziest. Like, what? You mean the lady from Jurassic Park and B. Diddy? They're dating? Yeah, they dated for a minute. Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union, huge, real celebrity power couple. Dwayne was maybe the second or third best player in the NBA for a stretch. Gabby Union, a huge star. And then one that probably predates you, Christian, Mia Hamm, Nomar Garciaparra. Nomar was huge when he was in Boston. And, still was after they traded him, but they did win the World Series right after they traded him. All right, what's our next draft?
Keeping it with recap. Okay.
Apologies.
I had the first pick. I went Bill Belichick and Jordan Hudson, Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, Tom Brady and Giselle, David Beckham and Posh Spice, Livy Dunn and Paul Skeens. Ben, you went Andre Agassi and Brooke Shields, Joe DiMaggio and Marilyn Monroe, Lamar Odom and Khloe Kardashian, Justin Verlander and Kate Upton, and Dennis Rodman and Carmen Electra.
I think you're going to go to 5-0. I think you're going to win that draft.
Good one to have the first pick.
What's next?
Best rom-coms of all time, keeping it Valentine's themed.
Yeah, Valentine's Day coming up on Saturday. You want to watch your romantic comedy. Some good ones. Not a lot. I don't actually think this list is that deep, but I do think there's a lot of, fan favorites. There's a lot of, this is my personal favorite, even though they aren't necessarily lauded as great movies.
I'm going to go with 50 First Dates as number one.
Okay, wow.
I should have asked. You like to ask if there's a consensus number one,
I actually think there is.
You think there is?
50 First Dates.
Okay. I worry that you might take my next pick, but I'm a big fan of 50 First Dates.
I didn't have it on my list. In fact, I've never seen it. But this is Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore.
Yeah.
And she has dementia.
Yeah, she was in an accident. Every morning she wakes up and thinks that it's the day of her accident, so she doesn't remember what actually happened.
And he has to make her fall in love with him every day?
Every day, yeah.
It's like Groundhog's Day.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a great movie. I'd definitely recommend it if you've never seen it. I can't believe you've never seen it.
I legitimately think this is like one of the great movies of our lifetime. Predates you. It was early in my life. The late Rob Reiner, though, this is one of the great movies of all time. And if you have not seen it, watch it. It is an A-plus movie on top of being a rom-com. It did set the design for every rom-com to follow, and it is When Harry Met Sally. When Harry Met Sally is legitimately great. It's funny, funny romance, good romance. When Harry Met Sally, no question about it. Top pick.
I will go with Crazy Stupid Love as my number two. Love, obviously, the plot twist at the end. Like, you don't see that in rom-coms very often, and it's a genuinely funny movie.
Steve Carell, Emma Stone.
Ryan Gosling,
and what's her name? Oh, why can't I think of her name now? The redhead, who's very good. I think she has an Oscar. Why can't I think of her name? Who's the woman in it? Anyways.
I'm honestly spacing it.
I'll pull it up. I'll find it. Julianne Moore, who's very good in it. All right, I will go with more in your, it probably still predates you, but a lot of millennials love this movie. I'll go with 10 Things I Hate About You. It's based on Taming of the Shrew, Shakespeare, great young Heath Ledger, very funny movie. A little melodramatic at times for me, but I'll take 10 Things I Hate About You. Really well done.
That is a good one. Classic, like, high school movie, right?
Yeah.
Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Yeah,
is
that's
my
a
number
good
3
one.
pick.
That's really good. I like Forgetting Sarah Marshall better than your other 2 picks.
Another really, really funny movie.
I don't think Judd Apatow movies have aged particularly well. Most of them have not, and I think a lot of them are actually pretty crappy. He did a lot of rom-coms in the 2000s. I do think this holds up better than any of them.
Yeah, it took me a long time to watch it, and then after I finally did, I was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I had never seen it before.
Yeah.
Like, it's so funny.
It's really funny. It really does hold up extremely well, even if I think we've canceled 4 of the 5 main people in the movie.
Almost everybody in there.
Almost everybody has gotten canceled. The movie itself, the content of the movie holds up pretty darn well. All right, I'll go with another classic, and I will go with Princess Bride. Princess Bride, bizarre release, but really kind of got a second win with VHS and has become an absolute cult classic that everybody has seen. And again, another Rob Reiner, absolute classic at his prime. So give me Princess Bride. You've seen Princess Bride, Christian.
I have, yeah. Good movie.
Okay.
Anybody want a peanut?
Yeah.
Okay. This one is a bit out of left field, I think.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Meet the Parents.
Okay, no, Meet the Parents is great.
I genuinely think... I don't know. I think this is one of Rob De Niro's best performances.
It is unfortunately signaling the demise of Robert De Niro's career. Like, once he started taking these payday comedies, it's too bad. It got too easy for him.
This
for
one was
of our
good,
great actors.
but he
this one
nailed
is
it in
good.
the rest of them.
And then he was like, oh, great. I found a way to make whatever my salary is, 10 million, 8 million, 20 million. I don't know what he gets paid for these movies. But he's just, Dirty Grandpa and just all these absolutely trash comedy movies that he's made. Is not a great ending to one of the great actors of our time, but I do think Meet the Parents is legitimately funny, and he's funny in it. And they did a nice job of using kind of his persona to be the investigator. And yeah, that's funny. Good tension there. All right, I will go with one that I bet you like a lot, Christian. It is part of your generation, and probably got slept on because it came out during COVID. And so I wonder how many people saw it. It's very much a COVID movie, meaning it's small. It has 3 people in it, basically total. Palm Springs. Palm Springs also based on Groundhog Day. It's the same idea. That is, they wake up every day and they have started over and they're at a wedding, and Andy Samberg over and over and over is trying to avoid getting killed by a hitman while trying to woo one of the other wedding guests. And if you have not seen it, it's very, very funny. It makes me wonder why Andy Samberg's not a bigger celebrity.
I love Andy Samberg.
But
he's hilarious.
Palm Springs is really good. Watch it if you haven't seen it.
I'll wrap it up here with... I'll go with The Breakup with Vince Vaughn and Jennifer Aniston.
I hate this movie.
I know. You and Jake have talked about how much you don't like it.
I don't
but
like Vince Vaughn, and I don't love Jen Aniston either. So
I love... So the argument scenes between them, like there's one scene when they're fighting about lemons or like doing dishes or something, doing chores. And she's like, I want you to want to do the chores. And he's like, why would I ever want to do the chores? Like that is so relatable to everybody in a relationship. Hilarious.
All right, my last pick. I'm going to go with one of my favorites. I know we have a listener who also was in this movie randomly, some Salt Lake City ties to it, and give me Punch Drunk Love. Another Adam Sandler movie, certainly not his most famous, but probably my favorite role of his, Paul Thomas Anderson's Punch Drunk Love.
Honorable mentions?
Lots of honorable mentions here. A bunch I didn't take. Sleepless in Seattle, but I think I got that covered a little bit with When Harry Met Sally. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Love that movie. Wedding Singer, another very good Adam Sandler. He's got a lot of rom-coms. That's kind of his thing. I really like Wedding Singer. I think that's his best Adam Sandler comedy. A classic, The Apartment, which I just rewatched, which is really, really great. If you haven't seen that, Christian, I would recommend. I think you'd like it. And another under-the-radar recent movie that people didn't like, but I thought was really good, Lisa Frankenstein, where she builds a boyfriend the same way you build Frankenstein and then kind of has to control him because he's a monster. So Lisa Frankenstein, if you haven't seen it.
Recap.
What about you? Honorable mentions?
Nah, Wedding Crashers, and then you named a few that I had as well. I took 50 First Dates with the first overall pick, and then Crazy Stupid Love, Forgetting Sarah Marshall, Meet the Parents, and The Breakup. You went When Harry Met Sally, 10 Things I Hate About You, Princess Bride, Palm Springs, and Punch Drunk Love.
a lot of good rom-coms. If you haven't seen any of those, I would recommend, I don't know, don't watch The Breakup, but watch all the rest of them. If there's one on those lists you have not seen and you want to watch something for Valentine's Day, a classic. All right, we'll wrap up the show next. Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Whether it's the Jazz, Utes, Cougars, or Aggies, these guys have got you covered.
Time to eat, fellas.
You're locked on to Jake Scott and Ben Anderson
1, 2, 3, move it.
on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Two amigos on the airwaves, talking sports.
Message for Ben. This is Nathan. Listening to you talk about Bobby Marks and the Jazz and calling in the integrity of the league, I've heard a lot of people talk about how the Jazz should be punished. And I'm like, okay, punish the Jazz, but you got to punish all the other tanking teams if you're going to punish them today, if they're not breaking the player participation policy. But you can't just punish the Jazz, in my opinion, this year without punishing the other teams, because to me that's selection bias. What do you think?
Nathan, thanks for calling in using the call-in feature. Download the KSL Sports app. You see the button in the bottom left, and you're welcome to do that. We try and play them at the end of every show. Yeah, that's the biggest problem with what Bobby Marks did. Calling out the Utah Jazz as if they're the face of this, or as if they're the one, he says at the end of that quote, drop the hammer. What are you talking about? This is a system that all 30 NBA owners agreed to and the players agreed to. Like, these are CBA agreements between that take a long time to hammer out with very high-priced lawyers. Like, this is something that the NBA said, we're going to allow this. So, yeah, the idea of singling out the Utah Jazz for doing it, and then much less trying to punish them for it or making them the face of it would be ridiculous. Yeah, if you want to say we're not going to allow it going forward and teams who violate it, we are going to, quote, drop the hammer, I think that's totally fine. But trying to say that any one team is doing it worse than others or is more responsible for it is insane. Join Scotty Friday, noon to 3 at Tim Daly Mazda in Sandy, 10785 South Auto Mall Drive. That's Scott Gerard at Tim Daly Mazda. Speaking of integrity of the NBA, the Indiana Pacers injury report is out. I don't know who they're playing tonight. They're playing the Nets. That it tells you exactly what it is because the Nets are also a team that's trying to hold on to their draft pick. Here's the Indiana Pacers integrity preserving injury report. Micah Potter, former Jazz legend, questionable left ankle sprain. Jarris Walker, questionable illness. TJ McConnell, out, right hamstring soreness. Andrew Nembhard, out, lower back injury management. Aaron Nesmith, out, lower back soreness. Pascal Siakam, out, left hamstring soreness. Ivica Zubac, who, by the way, played every game for the Clippers leading up to the trade deadline, out with a left ankle sprain. Last night, the same Indiana Pacers, Pascal Siakam had 30 points. Micah Potter had 10 points. Andrew Nembhard had 24 points. TJ McConnell had 13 points. So last night, mere hours ago, not only were these guys able to play, they played in overtime and beat a playoff team in the New York Knicks on the road. They were healthy enough to go out there and win a high-level NBA game, their rival, in fact. And not 12 hours later, all of these guys' illnesses. Not questioning the integrity of the NBA. This is not the Pacers' fault. This falls on the Utah Jazz. But that injury report comes out. Good job, Bobby Marks. Scotty G is coming up next. Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.